Hello, everyone. If you're a baseball fan, you may have heard of John Boy Media. They do a lot of baseball breakdowns. And I don't know what I'm going to call this, but what I'm trying to highlight is something I've been trying to convey over the last year or two, that micros can be sensitive when it comes to the props being obstructed and us trying to either fly or turtle mode, or basically we're trying to move the prop and the prop can't move. One of the things that I do that I think helps save me is I disarm really, really quickly. And I want to highlight that in this breakdown a little bit. This is the Diatone GTB339F1. Many of you have probably already seen Joshua Bardwell's video, and you may have seen my comment on his video. But just so you know, before I made my comment, I had a little Facebook chat with him, and I discussed a little bit about how these all-in-one boards can be sensitive to ESCs burning or motors burning when we're trying to turn that prop and the prop is obstructed. And that brought me to where I'm at, is I've been flying the Diatone GTB339F1, boy is that a mouthful, for a while now. And I think I'm kind of done with it. I've probably got about 50 or 60 flights with it. And I think it deserves, not just in this case, but in cases of micros, that if you're flying, one of the things that you need to be good at in micros is disarming. So you can make the choice on whether you want to use turtle mode or not. I've covered that in the past. I'm not going to hit you over the head with that again. If you hear piano music in the background, no, that isn't in your head. That is my girls. They are having their virtual piano lessons right now. So we're going to do two things. I've got this little video rendered. This is a 2S flight. The quad is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. If you want to know what I think of it, I'm keeping it. I'll put a link down in the video description down below if you want to check that quad out itself. I think it flies really well, and I think I prefer this one. Oddly enough, some of you may be surprised, I prefer this one on 2S. But this is a 2S flight. In my review, when I post that later, I'll have 3S flights. Let's go ahead and let's move forward here a bit in the video. I don't want to bore you too much. I will show you a sample of the flight footage of me just kind of flying it around here a little bit before we get to the crash. And then we'll move into the editor to break down the crash a little bit further. One of the points that we can get from this is I've got that field audio from the cell phone camera that I use to record the audio, and then I sync it to the flights, which I like just because it enhances. But in this case, it also gives us, there's the crash. Now, I want to go back just a little bit on this and watch how quickly I disarm if you can hear the tick. Go back again. Did you hear that? That little tick sound, that's me flicking the switch. Now, let's jump over to the editor so I can actually show you that, how the editors have these little audio bars. Here we are in the editor, and I've kind of increased the quality, but this is not the same quality that you'll see. This is a working quality, so I can get through things. Down here is what I want you to pay attention to. This is the field audio. You can see I've got 3 files here. I've got my flight background. I've got my DVR footage in the top layer, and then down here in the bottom layer, I've got a video layer, which is from that camera that's recording, and the very bottom one is the audio. And you can see here this little mark right here. Hopefully you can see my cursor. That is me hitting the switch, and I am just going to go using the arrow keys and go frame forward by frame forward. Oh, I'm going to go a little faster than that. Oh, come on, why is it not playing? Get it together here. Let me click on that, and we're just going to move forward. You see the ground coming up. We also have the timeline. You can see there, it's 1 minute 00. Oh, excuse me, my phone there. Got the time at 1 minute and not 29 seconds, but you can see the time there as a breakdown. We've also got the timeline across the top here, but we haven't made contact with the ground just yet. We're going to continue to move forward. Sorry about the keyboard. And we're going to make contact with the ground. I don't give it enough throttle. It's so close, and right about there, right there, we start to see the blurring of the image as we start to roll over. Now, if we look at where we're at in the timeline, we're at 010113. So that's a marker for us. Then we move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I've disarmed. So that happened in about a second, maybe less than a second. that's one of the things that I do that probably help to keep my quad. I don't crash over concrete. I don't typically run into two immovable objects other than the trees and the swing sets out back, but I disarm quickly. And you might remember my stick cam video for the Mobula 6 and how I took off and I had the back of that chair right in front of me and I bonked that. I disarmed before that quad hit the floor. That's not to tout my disarming skills. This is something that I think might be important for other pilots to also think about. Because for a time we used to see, or we may still see, I don't see them all that often anymore, Facebook memes about never disarm. And that's fine if you've got a much more robust and hardy ESC and you fly maybe a 5-incher. It'll probably work out just fine. And even on these all-in-one boards, you might be able to get away with it for a while. You might be able to get away with it more on one board than another board. But to be safe, if you enjoy your quad, it's best to disarm quickly. You know, if you're doing high moves across the treetops and you kind of get tangled up, that's a different scenario. It's better to take corrective action and not end up in the tree. But if you're on the ground or you're near the ground or you're below the canopy, my advice would be to disarm and go pick up the quad. Let's go back just for one final time. I wanted to make this a short video. Hopefully I haven't been too long in the tooth. Let's go back. Moving forward. Where's that frame where I make contact? There it is. 010113. Disarmed at 010123. So disarming really quickly may help you save your quads from burning up, either a motor or an ESC. I've had a series of crashes with this as I've just been flying it around and having fun and actually doing a little bit of experimentation, and I haven't had any problems. But I should note, and I'll note this again in the review, I did add a cap to the battery lead, a 35 volt 330 microfarad cap, only when I started flying 3S. You might be asking, well, why did you do that? Why didn't Diatone do that? I agree. I think Diatone would. You'll note that Beta FPV, when they ship their boards, or at least the boards that I have from Beta FPV, they have a capacitor on those. I think it's necessary, and it's about a 1/4 gram penalty, and I thought it was worth it because I really enjoy this quad. Again, if you're interested in knowing more about this quad before my review comes out, I'll have a link down in the video description to where you can check out the specs, the pricing, things of that nature. I would add one little thing. In typical Diatone fashion, we don't see where it comes with a receiver, so that's kind of the downside to this. Okay, I've gone long enough. I just wanted to do a quick crash breakdown and maybe help people with adding to their skill set and being able to save their quads. If you do have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in the section down below. I appreciate your time. And thanks for watching.